Hi, it's me again. I always feel awkward talking over these videos, but I feel like it's even more boring not to talk over them. So, here I am. I didn't know what kind of light or atmosphere I was gonna go for, but I did know at least the base colors for their clothing and their skin, so I put those down first. And that's really where I start every time, because I know that I can add or modify a lot of stuff via layer modes and stuff later. So you might have seen that triangle of light on the upper left, which I got rid of. That's because when I don't know what to do with the lighting, I try to figure out some interesting block of the piece to either section off in shadow or light. And in this one I thought, oh, perhaps I'll put it in the top corner. Make that light, make the rest of it in shadow. That did not look good, so I scrapped it. And now with the edge lighting, I'm thinking, okay, the light's gonna be brightest on the upper back edge, kind of. And I didn't know yet that I'd have the rays of light streaming in from like top left to lower, sorry, top right to lower left. But that's how it ends up being. So right now I'm still trying to figure out what color the sky and the lights are. I've gone for kind of a red, which I changed my mind on, don't worry. This kind of looks a little not very romantic right now. Let's see, I'm adding in my soft shadows. For this expanse of white, that's her dress, I am adding shadows that are kind of the same hue as the colors around it, since, you know, white fabric, light reflects off of the colors near it and modifies it, you know, that kind of thing. When I drew the sketch, my vague idea was that they were like at home, so this would be like the kitchen counter or something. Now it's more like a brick wall outside. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're together. That's all that matters. And here I'm going in with Add Glow and Gaussian Blur, my favorite combination, and I decided that the blur was not enough. It did not reach far enough, so I went in manually with a soft brush, try and get another layer of soft glow on there. So you might notice that I've used a soft brush for most of my work up until now, and that's because I don't really have to think when I'm using a soft brush. Like, there's no detail work there. I can just apply color wherever I like in a general fashion, and it's very relaxing. Of course, you know, you can't have everything be a soft brush, otherwise nothing will ever have definition and it'll just look pretty boring. So I do resort to a hard brush for my lines, or not really lines, my sketch, and for my shadows, my hard shadows at least. Everything else though I like to keep soft because it's very easy. Oh, okay. Here I'm shading his shirt. For the first, like, good chunk of the time that I've spent shading his shirt, I did not think about it at all. I just went on autopilot and followed my sketch, which was not a good idea because even I knew that when I made that sketch, I was thinking, I'll figure this out in post. And by post, I mean when I color it. And when I color it, suddenly I was like, ah, I figured this out before in in my sketch mode. But I had not. So I had to turn my brain back on and actually shade it properly, or semi-properly. Honestly, none of this is properly shaded. You know, if I went out and took a very accurate reference picture, it would not look like this. But it looks accurate enough for the piece, so I'm just gonna call that a success. Oh, okay, now I'm shading in his jeans, which I did not look up a reference for this because I couldn't figure out what to Google that wouldn't get me, like, weird pictures. So, I decided, you'll see later that I decided just to take out the hard cell shading that I did and just do a soft wash. Okay, here I'm back on the light. Excellent. I've decided that there's gonna be like beams of light coming in under her wings and also over, and that's my interesting light shape of the day. So I'm just gonna lean into that. Well, like I mentioned, I had no idea what I was gonna do with this piece. So when I don't know what I'm gonna do, I kind of jump around a lot. Like, you'll see me still fixing up stuff from earlier on, like my color flats. Like, I didn't trim them enough, and I fixed them later, way later in the process than I normally would, because when I don't know what to do, my priority is slapping a bunch of layer modes and adjustment layers on it, trying to figure out what to do. Oh, it looks really nice right now. I'm gonna stop talking about that. Yeah, this orange glow, this blue, purple, kind of a rainbow thing going on in the corner. Those are all thanks to Linear Light, my favorite layer mode. Don't tell Multiply that I said that. And now I'm adding those little like dust motes there in the light. You might notice on the left where I have all my brushes, I finally organized all the brushes that I've downloaded from Clip Studio Assets, or whatever the site is called. When you download them, because I mean most of them are in either Japanese or Korean, so I went through all my brushes, like all 300 or 400 of them or whatever, with Google Translate open, try to translate them so that I could finally remember which brush is which. I have about like 50 exclusively just for stars. Just stars in the sky, because guess what? Now that I'm into Star Wars, I gotta figure out how to draw those galaxies and those like star skyscapes. Like, that's a priority now. Oh, okay, here I'm adding back in some soft shadows because usually I leave it off at one layer of soft shadow and one layer of hard shadow, and that's usually good enough. For this one, I decided that since I didn't really, because there's such a strong light source, I felt like I had to add some more shading, I mean, to support that light source. So I had to add in like another layer of soft shading on a darker color for both of them. If this audio seems a little disjointed and boring afterwards, it's probably because I'm not very good at editing. I also don't really like to spend a lot of time editing because, you know, there are things that I have to use my wrist for, right? It's either gaming, drawing, or editing. And I prioritize drawing most of all. I've basically given up on gaming. And editing is like dead last in my priorities. So apologies for that, but I do want to preserve my hand so I can keep drawing more. I won't have the chance to talk about it when it shows up on screen because it's the last step I do and it goes by really fast, but at the end I do the color balance. For that, you know how they have the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows? For the shadows, I usually boost cooler colors. For the highlights, I boost warmer colors, especially for this one. For the midtones, I leave that for last. I adjust that last, and I just figure out whatever looks nice. And here we are. Here's the final piece. It looks very nice. I don't think I'll draw them kissing again, because honestly I'm kind of embarrassed that I did this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll speak again next time.